This video response is going to go out to BASSFZz, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled The Double Standard of Having Standards Part 2. Now, I actually responded to the first part of your video series, and I eagerly awaited your response. But I figured that 4 months was long enough to wait. That's why I'm uploading this particular video.
Yeah, I apologize for that. It's not that I was ignoring you or anything. The truth of the matter was I was actually waiting for the other 3 parts to come out before I could respond. I thought you were working on part 2, 3, and 4, and it's not that I was ignoring you or anything like that. I was just waiting patiently. So, yeah, I'm here now, so.
Okay. Anyway, let's go on with this particular video. You said that the girl you were attracted to liked someone else that you thought wasn't nice. Now, I'm being polite here. As you well know, I am not very fond of expletives or derogatory statements.
You should really stop with the "as you well know," considering the fact that this is literally the 3rd video I've ever seen you make. I know that now, but I didn't at first.
Okay? If you want to use them, that's fine. I just don't approve of either one. Okay? And I would appreciate it if you wouldn't use those kind of statements in any video response that you give to me.
Okay, well, I won't use expletives. At least I'll try not to use a lot of expletives in the course of this video, so I will apologize in advance if a couple, fly out of my potty mouth. But, to answer your question, how do I define a jerk? Well, it's quite simple. A jerk is characterized by one factor above anything else, and that one factor is that he does not care. That is the defining characteristic of a jerk. He does not care. There you go. Let's keep going.
Yes, I do tend to set the rules, and this is the rules. Okay, let's go on here. Now, the question I have for you is this: how do you define a not nice person? And more importantly, how does she define a not nice person? Think about that. Her definition of a not nice person and your definition of a not nice person may not be the same.
Yeah, that's true. However, if she is complaining about the fact that this guy is a not nice person, and I agree with the fact that he's a not nice person, then it looks like our definitions are pretty similar. Right?
Have you ever talked to her about this?
Yes.
Have you ever discussed this with her?
Yes.
Think about it.
I already have. That's why I was able to recount that story in the video series.
Okay. Now then, here's my next question to you. Are you absolutely sure that the only reason why she didn't like you was because of one single attribute?
No. But I have chosen to trust what she said. If she lied about what she told me, that would make her quite the jerk. And if I ever find out that she lied about what she said, well, there would arise a fury within me of which rivals the intensity of a supernova, okay? So I'm just going to elect to choose to believe what she told me. Theoretically speaking, she very well could have been, bold-faced lying to me, and of course that wouldn't have been the first time. But I'm going to choose to believe her. I had talked to her several times, and her story was pretty consistent. But yeah, I will concede, she very well could have been lying, so, yeah.
Maybe there were other attributes that she saw within you that she didn't particularly like, but she didn't want to tell you that.
Okay, so you are implying that she bold-faced lied to me. I don't really like that all too much. I discussed this with her several times, and she said 70% of the reason as to why she picked that guy over me was because of the color of my skin, so. Yeah.
Have you ever confronted her on this?
Yes.
Have you said, is there anything else besides this one particular attribute that you didn't like about me?
Yes.
Ever thought about that?
Yes.
Maybe she'll tell you, maybe she won't. That's at her discretion.
I've already had this conversation with her. That's how I was able to recount what happened in the video series, my friend. I actually intended on making a video about her literally like 2 years ago. Except I got swamped with a lot of other stuff. Eventually I'll make that video about that girl. Eventually. So, yeah, let's keep going.
But certainly it's something for you to think about.
My friend, I thought about that for literally 2 years. It was something that was ridiculously damaging to my self-esteem. It's a good thing I recovered from that, though. It's a fantastic thing I recovered from that, actually.
Okay. Now then, you were talking about this lady that was reciting this poem.
Savannah Brown, yes.
Do you think that this lady reciting this poem always looked the way she did in that particular video?
Yes. I have a very strong feeling she looked very similar. Or maybe she didn't, and I was just completely wrong. Actually, as it turns out, in her poem, she recounted people saying that she didn't feel attractive or she got made fun of because she had really small boobs. But the funny thing about that all is, I mean, if she has a pretty face and really small boobs, I mean, I still find her attractive. I mean, I like girls that have small boobs, which is kind of a weird thing to say, and most people think that it's weird, but I don't know. I think it's weird too. I don't know why I'm so attracted to girls with like small boobs. I don't mean like flat-chested. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean like just like small, like why am I talking about this? Let's keep going.
Really? I don't think so. And just because you think she's pretty, that automatically means that every guy in the world thinks she's pretty?
No, it means someone in this world thinks she's pretty. That someone would be this ugly motherfucker right here. Actually, I'm not an ugly guy. I'm a pretty good looking guy. Ah, dang it, I just used an expletive. I apologize for that. Let's keep going.
I think she's pretty, but that doesn't mean that every guy all over the world thinks she's pretty. There may be lots of guys in her life that think that she's butt ugly.
Yes, and so then she should completely ignore those guys and focus on people like me. Simple solution.
We don't know. We don't know all the guys in her life. And we don't know what they think either.
Doesn't matter what they think. You should take positivity over negativity any day of the week.
So there goes your argument all to pieces. All right.
Nah, I don't think so. I think I defended that conclusion pretty well.
And you're honestly saying that you know enough about her life to know whether there has ever been a guy in her life that has completely rejected her?
No, what I was saying was two things. One, I don't fucking believe her. Excuse my French. And two, I find her to be attractive, which means somebody on the face of this planet does, okay? Which means that if she should focus on the positive, on the good things, on the great things about people, instead of focusing primarily on people who call her ugly or make fun of the size of her boobs, because I think they're perfectly fine the way they are.
Maybe there have been guys in her life that have rejected her.
Yeah, what? Those guys were foolish. Unless they rejected her because they found out she was a feminist. Then they were pretty sharp.
Maybe there was more than one. Think about that. And even if every guy in the world liked how she looks, maybe she has friends that guys thought were butt ugly and treated them like they were butt ugly. And this inspired her to create and recite this particular poem on that particular video.
Yes, except she specifically said that people made fun of her because she had small boobs. So, no, I don't think she was referring to anybody else.
Maybe she wasn't so much defending herself, but maybe she was defending some of her friends. Think about that for a second.
Nope, considering the fact that she specifically said, well, I just said that in the last clip, so let's keep going.
Did you ever take that into consideration? Probably not. Okay? So, now I'm not really sure where you've been, but I know many guys who expect absolute perfection from their female companions.
Well, they're gonna be disappointed.
And when they don't get that level of perfection, they get pretty enraged.
Yeah, except honestly, you're not deriving too much sympathy from me. I mean, they picked him, which means they wanted to be with him. I mean, I can't feel bad about that. They wanted him. I got nothing there.
So I would suggest you meet more people before you make such a blanketed statement.
Those girls picked him. They could have been with someone else if they wanted to. I certainly do believe that. Now, I guess I could be wrong, and maybe he was the only guy in the whole wide world who showed her some love and some affection. Not only do I highly doubt that, but at the end of the day, she still picked him, so again, I have little to no sympathy for women who purposely pick guys like that. I mean, why would I? That was her decision.
Because it just doesn't hold water, especially not to me. Now, I will grant you, and I agree with you, that there are some ladies who have certain expectations for guys.
Certain expectations? You know, several times in the course of my life, I've actually seen a woman, seriously, like with a straight face, look up at me and say that if she's angry, the guy that she's with should just know why she's angry. That's why they always say nothing's wrong, because you're just supposed to know somehow, because we're Charles Xavier, apparently. Yeah, those are the expectations women have for men. There are some women that have expectations. Are you kidding me?
And some of these expectations are rather extreme. And in that respect, they are no better than Nash Greer. I'll agree with you on that.
And I could end the video response right there, because that would make them all gigantic freaking hypocrites, which is part of what that video series painted out to do. So, yeah.
But Nash Greer's video was not about what he wanted in a lady. It was a blanketed reference to what all guys want in ladies.
Yeah, and I want you to show me just how many men really disagree with what Nash was saying. I mean, seriously, show me a whole bunch of men that really find a whole bunch of arm hair on girls to be super attractive. Like, I would like to talk to those guys. Show me the men who find ridiculously obnoxious women very attractive. Go ahead, please, show me. This is my challenge to you. I want to see how many men really disagreed with what Nash had to say. I mean, really disagreed.
He doesn't speak for me. He doesn't speak for my friends. He obviously doesn't speak for you either. So why are you defending him? Doesn't make a tiniest bit of sense.
Because all of you white knights, social justice warriors, and feminists are a bunch of freaking hypocrites getting upset at a 16-year-old boy for doing something that everybody in society does.
And that's my point. And that's what these ladies were objecting to. They were objecting to this constant stream of blanketed statements that Nash Greer was making. Nash Greer doesn't speak for me, nor my friends, nor for many members of my YouTube audience. He doesn't speak for any of us. And that's what these ladies were trying to tell you. The blanketed statements that Nash Greer was giving in his particular video was just deplorable. That's all it was. Period. Now, I will agree with you that every human being has certain expectation for their spouses.
I got nothing.
I will also say that being obnoxious, loud, and crazy doesn't make you anything other than an annoying human being. That's all it does. Okay? This labeling thing, I don't agree with that labeling thing at all.
Apparently, then, you don't agree with the English language. You don't agree with this whole labeling thing. What?
The next lady you're referring to, she had a right to be upset. Instead of using words of encouragement to motivate women to attempt to meet the expectations of Nash Greer and his friends, they were just bashing women all over the place throughout their entire video.
Because being fun in a boring situation is quite the terrible thing. That whole, you know, have goals, dreams, and aspirations that Nash was talking about, just disgusting. It's almost as bad as the Taliban.
And if you can't detect that, well, I feel for you. I really do. Alright. Furthermore, her disappointment in Nash Greer does not invalidate her argument. Her whole argument was sound.
No. The word you're looking for was her whole argument was valid. And even then, I'd still have to disagree with you on that one. If we're talking about the little cute blonde-haired girl who was really mad for no flippin' reason, then yeah, her argument was probably valid. And again, I would disagree with you on that one. But it would not be sound simply because it wasn't true. It was just BS.
She was just very disappointed in seeing those particular attributes out of Nash Greer and his friends. And I know I was disappointed as well. So there you go. So, now normally I try to be polite here, but I don't see any other way to be polite on this one. But you seem to think that all ladies are sluts?
I would say about 70%. Does that make you feel any better? At no point did I ever say that all women were sluts.
Okay, if not, you need to define to me and to your audience which ladies you think are sluts and why you think they're sluts. Define that. Please, I'd love to hear it.
I have several videos on the topic of sluts and slut shaming. So, I imagine you haven't seen them. So I'm just going to tell this to you and only you. A slut, by definition of the word, is a promiscuous woman. Done.
Okay? Now, what the next lady was saying in her video is that what she looks for in boys is not what all ladies look for in boys. There's the difference. She's not a hypocrite because she's saying these are the things that I look for in boys. Okay? There's a big difference between saying this is what I look for in boys and then making massive blanketed statements that Nash Greer was making. And he was making one after the next, after the next, after the next. And if you couldn't see that, you're the one that's blind. Period. Okay. Now then, you find discussions entertaining. Well, it all depends on what you're discussing. If you're discussing fluff, it isn't that entertaining.
Well, well, that really wouldn't be much of a discussion then. It would just be small talk, and not everybody is a big fan of small talk, so...
And besides, their point was the guy, if he wants to be entertained, should start something entertaining. He should initiate the entertainment, not expect it out of the lady. And when he initiates the entertainment, usually she'll follow suit.
Well, that's kind of funny. The guy should be the one entertaining the lady. And should you expect it to be the other way around, well, go ahead and ask Nash Greer how that's going to turn out. I mean, were you listening to yourself when you said that? Because I don't think you were.
And yes, Nash Greer did point out one problem with society, which was body image. And that is a great big problem in our society today, especially with airbrushing. And if you missed that, well, you're terribly blind.
Well, technically speaking, I am legally blind without my glasses on. I guess you can consider that a fun fact of the day, right?
Anyway, about this point, I was getting to the point, it's like, I'm drained. I am absolutely drained by watching your video. That was just draining me.
Join the club.
So I'm just going to cut it right here. I would comment on the last 5 minutes of your video, but I'm sitting here going, man, haven't I stated enough? So anyway, that is the end of this particular video response to you. Hopefully, you will actually take the time and respond back to me. I would love to see what you have to say about what I just said. That'll be quite amusing to me. You say you like intellectual conversations? Well, here's the biggest one you'll ever have.
I highly doubt that. But I have taken time out to respond to you, and, well, we'll see what you have to say.
Come on. Let's hear what you have to say. I'd love to hear it. Alright. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.
Wow. That's part 2. Golly gee willikers. And I'm not even gonna lie. I am so anxious to see what he has to say about part 4. Like, I really am. Like, I wish if he could have only done one video, I wish it was part 4. I really do. But I know part 3 is gonna be a fucking doozy. I know it's gonna be a doozy because of the people I included in part 3. So, golly gee willikers. Well, yeah, I just cannot wait to see what he has to say about part 4. Well, guys, that's the end of his video and subsequently the end of mine. So, guys, as always, if you like this video, please, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.